There are those that say history can be divided into two parts: the time before the invention of books and the time since. There is no denying that since humans have had books, our lives have been filled with knowledge, entertainment, and magical tales of boy wizards. So who is most responsible for bestowing mankind's greatest gift? The monks who tirelessly copied manuscripts by hand, Gutenberg and his movable type, the countless authors and publishers who produced so many fine and important works. For many, the credit for man's ascension to greatness from the depths of the Dark Ages goes to one group of people, the booksellers. And among the booksellers, there is one in particular that deserves special notice as perhaps the savior of civilization itself. That man is Avin Domnitz. Avin entered the world like most of us do, very young. But unlike most of us, Avin seemed to know his place in the world. He soon went from crawling on all fours and drooling to selling books and drooling. Avin was a natural bookseller. He even sold books to his college football team in the middle of a game. There was the tale of Avin and Moses. As Moses came down from the mountaintop, Avin convinced him to sell copies of the Ten Commandments, both in papyrus back and as a coffee table book, where the stone tablets could be used as both a coffee table and a book. There was the tale of Avin arriving at the Appomattox farmhouse, where Grant and Lee were signing the treaty to end the Civil War, and selling everyone in attendance a copy of Margaret Mitchell's Gone with the Wind, a book which wouldn't even be written for another 71 years. There was the story of Avin driving to Woodstock's 3 days of peace, love, and music, and selling books to nearly everyone in attendance. It was told that Avin could sell a book to anyone. He once sold the complete works of Ernest Hemingway to Ernest Hemingway himself. I was at the bookstore. It was a clean, well-lighted bookstore. Avin Domnitz sold me some books. I took them home. Halfway through reading one book about a man and a fish, I thought it was a hell of a story. I wished I had written it myself, until I realized I had. I went back to the bookstore and challenged Domnitz to a boxing match or a bullfight. He immediately sold me all my books again, this time in paperback. Then I walked home in the rain. Ernest Hemingway. Soon Domnitz's notoriety grew. One could hardly open the celebrity gossip pages without finding a mention of where Domnitz had dined the night before, and what the latest book was he was recommending around town.
Jazz was in the air everywhere. I believe that on the first night I went to Domnitz's house, I was one of the few guests who had actually been invited. People were not invited. They went there. Did I mention Jazz was in the air? F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Soon, Avin himself became the subject of books, Broadway musicals, and poems.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered weak and weary, my heart was lost and full of dread. It had been ages since I'd read. Then came a tapping, rapping at my cellar door. Then asked the Avin, "What's a cellar for?" And so this bookseller filled my cellar full of books, and said I'd be no longer bored. Quoth the Avin, nevermore. The Avin, by Edgar Allan Poe.
For Avin, being a successful bookseller wasn't enough. When he learned of an organization called the American Booksellers Association, a ragtag trade organization fighting for the independent bookseller, he said to himself, "I have to run that." The next day, he was its president. While president of the ABA, Avin helped take on the publishers who were giving unfair advantage to the increasing number of big chain stores and squeezing out the mom-and-pop booksellers across America. What happens to a discount not given? Does it give unfair advantage to the big chain stores? Does it erase America of its character one town at a time? Or does it fade and yellow like a paperback in the sun? Langston Hughes. The fight came to a head one afternoon after Avin invited the head of the 5 publishing families to a light lunch in New York's Little Italy. The ABA was so impressed with Avin, they gave him an upgrade to CEO, and Avin was soon crisscrossing the country, coming to the aid of booksellers everywhere.
There once was a boy who thought stores were worth saving. I'm talking, of course, of a boy named Avin. Never one to back down from a fight, and always with a book as day turned to night. Mother Goose.
The only people for me are the mad ones. The ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, mad to sell books and book-related tchotchkes, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, 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 and sometimes have a cafe in the back, and of course attractive end caps with staff recommendations. That's Avin Domnitz. Jack Kerouac.
I declare there is no enjoyment like reading. Avin Domnitz understands this. He is truly the kindest and best of men. A man with book sense and sensibility. Jane Austen.
And so what does the future hold for Avin Domnitz? If the past is any guide, it will be filled with adventure, excitement, entertainment, and the tales of a boy wizard.